So I've been thinking, where do beliefs come from? And have you ever been able to influence another person's belief or their belief systems? The reason I'm asking this question is because I just got done watching Quite Frankly, and I've become a real watcher of his show. He's on at 6:45 on YouTube, and he's a really neat musician, street musician kind of person, but extremely well educated, and has really interesting guests on. So he's usually on from, well, he calls it the pre-show at 6:45, and then he starts the show at 7, and it usually goes till 8, sometimes 8:30. And you know, if he's having a really good night, a really good show, it might go almost till 9 o'clock. And he had this guy on tonight who he calls himself a Satanist. But when you hear his reasons why he has those beliefs, you know, he's not doing what you would imagine a Satanist would do, you know, as far as, I mean, just imagine. I'm not even going to go there. But, you know, he's a businessman. I think he might be a musician too, but he lives in Florida and around Miami, and not too far from the Parkland school that got shot up. And he's got a couple of Rottweilers, and he took the dogs over to the school as therapy dogs. And this guy had had a lot of violence in his life. He was tattooed from head to toe, you know, except his face. And he'd spent time in Chicago, and you know, he's been carjacked, and you know, he knows what it's like to be in violent situations and how it affects people. And he was for Trump, you know. He anyway, enough about him. But it really got me thinking about, well, partly about belief systems and about labels that people either put on themselves or are labeled by another person. And I came across these cards today. I have all kinds of little cards that, you know, are inspirational, whatever. So let me read this one to you. Your life is a perfect mirror of the blueprints you created from your beliefs. The people around you are part of your hologram and reflect your pictures of reality back at you. Let me read it again. Your life is a perfect mirror of the blueprints you created from your beliefs. The people around you are part of your hologram and reflect your pictures of reality back at you. Now, I want to relate this to a story that involves judgment, judging another person and being judged by that person. It tends to feed on itself. So if you're judging someone, then they're judging you back, and it's sort of like you can't find common ground. You make the other person wrong. And so to have a judgment about another person means that it's like having a mirror up to yourself and reflecting back to you. And you're totally unaware that judgment builds on judgment. So I was taking a class at this church, and it involved How to Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And it involved a lot of inner searching and having assignments to figure out why your life is the way your life is. And did you have a part in creating the life that you're living? Because there are a lot of people that tend to think of themselves as victims, and that things have been done to them and they blame it on everybody. And I would have to say Hillary Clinton is a prime example of that. Like, she never did anything wrong. So that's just an example. So the thing that I got from this class, and well, one of the things we had to do, it was called mirror work. And I had never done that before. And it was very uncomfortable, especially in the beginning. And what you do is you stand in front of a mirror, like say your bathroom mirror, and you look at yourself, and you look at yourself in your eyes. Like they say, your eyes are the windows to your soul. And you tell yourself in such a way that is sincere that you love yourself. And it's extremely difficult to do. Because, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to explain it. You understand what I'm talking about. So, as a result of that, and it became easier with time. You know, we had to do it for like a whole week and then come back to the class and, you know, talk about our experiences with it. And, you know, it was actually, it was sort of like a 12-step program in a way. And so one of the things that really sort of was a, I would say a revelation, was first off realizing how toxic it is to be in judgment. And so the thing that I decided I would practice and make it basically a spiritual practice is every time that I caught myself in a judgment, I would change the thought of judgment to acceptance. And the thing that I noticed is I was judging everything. I mean, it was just judgment, judgment, judgment. Everything was judgment. But the longer I practiced turning it around and allowing acceptance to basically override judgment, because you don't know what the other person is going through. And to have, I would have to say, everybody is on their own path. I mean, I could call it a spiritual path, but I mean, we are spiritual beings, so it is a spiritual path. But what it basically comes down to is feeling more comfortable with who you are and who the other person is. And so if you accept the other person, then if you're in a healthy relationship, which I think there's more unhealthy relationships than there are healthy relationships, but that's another story. But to allow the other to be who they are without judgment is not only a gift to the other, but it's also a gift to yourself. And it allows you to have less anxiety and be less tense about everything. So can't think of much else to add about that right now, but if you can catch yourself in a judgment and realize that you are judging, that is the first part of being able to change it. Because we go through life mostly like zombies. Like we are just so busy being distracted by everything that all of our emotions end up being more or less automatic. And so that's my little words of wisdom for today. Class.